Hey there to all my homesteading, pioneer, backwoods, and mountain man friends. So what I was wanting to tell you about what's happening today, the last couple of days, is we're on day 2 now of a power outage. I think it was Saturday night, late Saturday night, around 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. It started to rain. It very quickly switched over to snow. We woke up Sunday morning at 6 o'clock, our normal time, to a good, 5 or so inches, 5.5 inches or so of snow. And it's been wreaking havoc in our area because the snow stuck to the power lines, and it caused the power lines, they kind of like would droop. Sometimes they would touch. Other areas, like we identified on our power line, there's a thing called I guess it's a circuit or a switch, sort of like, it looks like a big C-clamp with a connecting point, and it flipped down, and so then the circuit can't complete. They got to bring somebody to, connect that, but they're busy taking care of everybody else, and we are the last house on this line in the middle of nowhere that nobody knows about or nobody really pays attention to. We're not an important business or anything like that. So we're truly, we got thrown back to, 1910, 18 something or other. We're non-electric at the moment. Thank God for my wood stove, because it is literally our only source of heat. It has been keeping us very nice and warm, and the way that the double layers for this are, I can do some cooking, which is what I've been doing. I cooked breakfast yesterday. This morning we actually just had cereal. And then the the trial run, but not a trial run, of living in a non-electric house is some of your systems of what you think and what you need and how you need to go about certain things. We chose to have an electrified home, so there's certain things that we have been reliant upon, but this is kind of a little bit of a little bit of a poke in the backside to say, hey, maybe you need to look at some of your non-electric options again, because we have always been big fans of a lot of non-electric options. It's some of the stuff that when we were doing the historical reenactments, we found some of the non-electric, not fancy, the primitive type things to be really nice, almost preferable than the electricity. So I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I'll go around a little bit and I'll show you a few things. But we have a generator running, and I feel sort of like I'm back in my hurricane days in Florida, because the big thing in Florida was you needed to make sure that your refrigerator and your stuff in your refrigerator or your freezers didn't, go, and they can go quickly because it's pretty hot down there. So, we lived in a neighborhood where we had a generator. We had usually a couple people that ran their extension cords off of our generators, but, close together, and all day long you would hear a generator and da-da-da-da-da all day. And thankfully we lived in a nice neighborhood where most everybody realized, it's when it got to be bedtime, cut the generator off. Your refrigerator, can withstand, overnight, and it's not going to melt everything. Fortunately, as well, where we lived, the power companies were very, very quick to restore power in mass disaster areas. So they actually would get fined if they didn't do it within a certain period of time, which they would get fined in a hurricane situation, but whatever. So anyway, we're cooking on the wood stove. You definitely have a lack of the normal things, and one of the things that I have a lack of, in addition to the refrigeration, is water. We are on a well. We knew this was kind of like a Achilles heel for us, but it's definitely showing itself now. Hence the the scarf around the head, because we haven't been able to wash our hair for several days now, and it's the only nice and polite thing to do, at least I think. At any rate, yeah, so water is a big deal, and even for, okay, fine, I'm fortunate, I'm home, I don't have to go out to work. Actually, I did have to go out to work today, but I ended up telling them I couldn't satisfy my obligation because I can't do any of the things that I would normally do, and it takes me a lot longer to get this stuff done. Plus the road, at least my area, is not, it's not cleaned out, it's not plowed, it's nothing like that. Now you get out to the main, US highway, it's fine, it's clear, I'm sure it is, but where I live to there is not, and it's rough. And I know a lot of people think, everybody has that, it's all about what I see and what I think and feel. It's like you have to realize that there are other people in other places that it's very rough, and we don't have the basic or even luxury services that other places have. So at any rate, no work for me, and fortunately for the next several days I don't have any work that was planned, at least off the property work. There's 1,000 things to do here, but we have a few things that we're trying to take care of, and we're now kind of hunkering down and thinking about, we need to figure out a different delivery system for our water. We have a well, there's nothing wrong with the well is fine, but when there's no power to be able to run the well, we need to be able to figure out how we want to address that. Because in addition to, even with our generator, the generator, we could get a transfer switch, and we could get a couple things so that we could run the well to bring it up into the pressure tank, but the pressure tank is in a little outbuilding thing, and if you have water in that tank and in the pipes, it has to be heated so that it doesn't freeze, right? So when you have a winter storm, it's going to freeze. So there's a few other considerations. There's a few things that we have to look at, weigh some options, and make some decisions as a backup system. And this is something just straight up, if you read anybody who's been doing homesteading or pioneering type life and stuff like that, is you got to have a backup. You really need to have backups for your basic systems, because if you don't, you're going to be caught. Like as an example, I have this wood stove. There's nothing wrong with the wood stove, but let's just say, I don't know, something happened to the chimney pipe or something, I don't know. Well, I don't have another wood stove in the wings there. So this, we're talking about looking further into these gasifiers that they have for houses. Woodmaster is a brand, and seeing how much it would cost, how difficult it would be to install, and I know they're not cheap. This wasn't cheap, but at the same time, you have the responsibility, when you're way out on your own and you can't get service providers out here, you are the water department, the electricity department, you are, you make your own food, you kind of do it all. So there's a lot more responsibility, and a lot more, irons in the fire, or things that you have to take into consideration than just living in an apartment and calling your landlord to say, hey, whatever is out, and they go and take care of it for you. So at any rate, this is kind of where we're at, what we're doing for the day. I'll show you real quick what we have for our freezers and stuff. So we're out here on my lower deck. I've got my two freezers. This little one right here is what I call my non-food items freezers. I've got deer skins, I've got other things in there that I don't keep my food with, but it needs to be frozen until I can deal with the stuff that's in there. And then my other one is my what we have for our food. It's definitely more than what we need. And then obviously we got our extension cords that's going up to the main deck, and it's running the generator. So we brought these out last night because the morning temperature they said was going to be somewhere around 17 degrees. It didn't get quite that cold. It got down to, I think, about 20 or 22, but it was obviously a lot colder than inside my basement. So this stuff moved outside, and now we're running it, and these will stay outside probably until we get power, because it's going to be colder out here than it is inside the house. Here's a quick shot of all the stuff that's melting and all the globs coming off of the trees, starting to get very wet, but this is how it is. This is also another one of the things that has been great for us for our emergency lighting. It's an oil lamp. I don't know how often these are available in Walmart. Can't say I've ever seen them. We bought them years ago in a grocery store in Florida called Publix. They sell these all the time because we always have, you know, emergencies in Florida. So they are very common, and you can get like the ultra pure paraffin oil or whatever it is that you put inside of it. I have a whole bunch of boxes or bottles of that. But I know years ago, Cracker Barrel used to sell something similar to this. I don't know if they still sell them anymore, but having lighting, because you are your own electric company, you got to provide some kind of lighting. And I find these actually to be better than just say a battery operated whatever. Granted, if you have kids, you may disagree with that, that's fine. We have a dog, but he's pretty good. He doesn't mess with the lighting. So, you know, obviously use your own judgment as far as the safety of that kind of thing. You may need to rely more on battery power, but I've always found that, you know, when you use a flashlight or a headlamp or whatever, you just chew through the batteries quickly. These are actually a little bit easier of the consumption of the oil. So, you know, these are the things: your lighting, your heat, your water, refrigeration, all of that stuff. So I hope it was helpful for you, and I hope everybody has fared the storm, because I have no idea. We have no internet service or anything like that, so I have no idea what has happened in the greater community as far as you know, folks getting clobbered with this storm or not. So anyway, I hope it was helpful for you, and remember, you are the gold.